What's up, guys? It's Coach Loffer, and today we're going to continue with SOA COA TOA, but now we're going to be able to solve the missing side. So one of the most important things we need to do before we even do anything math related is we need to, on our calculators, we need to hit home, then hit 5, 2, and this will take us to document settings. And I need to make sure that where it says angle, that angle is in degrees. And I can't spell, but I need to make sure that it is in degrees, because if you keep it in radians, you will get some wild answers that are going to end up being incorrect. You'll do everything right, but you'll get the wrong answer. So here is our first example, and also I'll go through how we'll type it in the calculator as well. So first thing is I have my angle of 50, and so I have this side length across or opposite, and I also have my hypotenuse, which is h. So if we remember from yesterday, we have SOA, which is sine opposite hypotenuse. So I will have sine, my degrees is 50, and it will equal x over 30. So I need to solve for x here. So right now I have this 30. So if I multiply 30 on both sides, this will end up canceling. So I have 30 sine 50 equals x. So now on our calculators, we'll type in 30. We'll look for the trig button, which is just TRG, and it will come up different options. We're going to hit sine, and then there will be parentheses. We'll put in 50, and we will hit enter. And when we hit enter, we'll get x equals, and we're only going to round to the tenths, so we get 22, hold on, I lost track. We'll get 22.9. And so our missing side length is 22.9. So again, we're going to have another one that is working with sine. So again, I have an angle of 50. So now when I look across, now I'm given my opposite side, and now my hypotenuse is my x value. So the same thing, I know I have sine 50 equals 20 over x. And so what we're going to do, anytime our variable is on the bottom, we're just going to draw a circle with the x and that trig function, and they're just going to switch spots, so that now I have x equals 20 over sine 50. So now when we type it in our calculator, I'll type in 20 divided by, then I'll hit sine, I'll get parentheses, and we'll divide, and we'll end up with x equals 26.1. And again, to get to sine, I'm going to hit the trig button, which will pop up, and that trig is right below on the school calculators, the yellow control button. So if you're looking for it, it's also next to just that equal sign. So it's on the left-hand side. So that's another one with sine. So two different ways we can solve depending on where that variable is. So we're going to have two examples for each one. So now we're going to go to cosine. So cosine is COA, cosine adjacent hypotenuse. And remember, adjacent is just next to. So I have my 50 degrees. This will be A, this will be H. So I know I'll have cosine 50 equals adjacent over opposite, so x over 30. So again, to get rid of the 30, we'll multiply it on both sides. So I have 30 times cosine 50 equals x. And so on our calculator, we'll hit 30 times trig. We'll look for the cosine. We'll type in 50 and we'll hit enter. So as we work, we do 30 trig cosine 50, and we end up with 19.3. X equals 19.3. Example 4, again, still working COA. So I have my angle, again it's next to. Now my hypotenuse is my variable I'm solving for. So again, I know I'll have cosine 50, and I know it will equal a over h. So I have 10 over x. And so to keep things simple, we're just going to draw the circle and flip where cosine 50 and x go. That's going to be the easiest way. So I'm going to now rewrite this as x equals 10 over cosine 50. And so again, in my calculator, we'll hit 10, divide, find that trig button, look for cosine, and then 50. So 10 divided by trig cosine 50, and we'll be left with, I did that wrong, one more time, 15.6. So x equals 15.6. And two last ones. So these will be our TOA. So remember, tangent, opposite, adjacent. So I have my angle. This will be opposite. So my x will be opposite and my 10 will be adjacent. So we'll have tangent 50 equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 10. So again, we'll multiply by that bottom denominator of 10. So I have 10 tangent 50 will equal x. So in my calculator, we'll type in 10 times, we'll hit the trig button, we'll look for tangent, type in 10 or enter on 10, put 50 in the parentheses. So 10 trig tan 50, and we end up with 11.9 once we round. 11.9. So one last one. So again, we're still working TOA. So we look. So again, my angle is 50. Opposite is 20. Now next to that angle is x. So again, we'll have tan 50 equals opposite over adjacent. So 20 over x. And again, anytime that variable is on the bottom, we're going to just switch the place of x and what's on the left. So now I have x equals 20 over tan 50. So on my calculator, we'll hit 20, divide sign, then trig, we'll look for tan, and then in parentheses, we'll put my 50 to get my x value. So we hit 20 divided by trig button, look for tan, and in the parentheses we'll put 50, and we'll end up with x equals 16.8. So that's all we have for today. If you have any questions, just ask. And then the biggest thing is, if you get like a decimal less than 1, more than likely you forgot to change your calculator settings. So make sure you go in, you hit menu 5.2, go into doc settings, and make sure that the make sure that the settings is on degrees. If not, it's probably on radians, and radians will lead us to the wrong answer. So just double check that.